Good evening and salutations, my Reinhardt fans. This show continues to just boggle me. I don't know if I'm actually using the right word. I'm pretty sure that's actually a word. But I don't know if I'm actually using it in the correct way. But this show, um, okay, you know what? Let's start off with Jack and Phyllis. I was gonna call her Michelle Stanford. Um, this portion of the story, it it conflicts me because on one hand, I see a scene of this guy losing a son that he lost contact with for years and just had all this regret, and now he can't even sit there and make it up. He's going through letters of his final thoughts, trying to piece together his last, his last time on Earth, pretty much, and how he felt about his dad. And in a lot of ways, that's pretty tragic and sad. Um, but then on the other hand, I look at this scene and I'm like, in a lot of ways, it's like, I mean, they came over there to get letters. And at this point, you're playing guessing games about what you have to assume his last thoughts was, and, reading these letters and watching the conflict within each letter and how he feels about his dad and trying to guess, trying to guess, interpret, the way that he felt about him. At the end of the day, I feel like that's sort of torture. You're going through these letters and trying to figure out their final days and interpret whether it was good or whether it was bad and how they felt about you. Like, I feel like going through that rabbit hole. One second. Going through that rabbit hole in some ways almost seemed like it would do more harm than good. And so as I'm sitting there watching this, I'm just wondering, how does everyone actually feel about that particular scene? Um, it's like I'm watching, I'm just like, is there more to this than just them reading through his letters? Because all I'm watching is a man that's sitting there trying to play guessing games on how his son lived and how he might have felt about his dad towards the end. But it hasn't really went anywhere. Like, I mean, there has to be more to this than just him and Phyllis going to Los Angeles to, you know, do this mystery. Like, it has to be more to it than just this. I really hope there is more to it than just this because, again, you see scenes like this, it always makes me think, um, how did this show actually manage to stay on the air so long? And what is it about this show that makes people want to come back and watch more of it? Now, talk about Victoria. Victoria comes in the room after Nicholas kind of slipped up. She comes in the room. She's like, "I want to know what's going on. I feel like y'all are conspiring against me. You're keeping secrets. Nick seemed like I knew something that you told me, but you didn't tell me anything. So what's going on? And I can't get anything out of him. So what's up?" And of course, Victor still sitting there, keeping up with the lie of, oh, we just wanted to sit there and be concerned about Ashley and Locke, and we didn't want you to sit there and sign these papers. We didn't want him to sign these papers. No, her to sign these papers because we don't know how his health is. I mean, the guy practically just went home today. I mean, if this is just today, how's he going to sit there and be, you know, how's he going to be moving forward in his new title? So, and the fact that you didn't tell me about this, you just practically told me at the last minute, so he's, um, keeping up that charade. And of course, Victoria thinks that there's more to it than just that, but she's like, listen, you're not going to tell me, you're not going to tell me. My husband is not feeling well. I'm not dealing with this. So she leaves, and Nikki at one point is like, are we sure we're doing the right thing? Are we sure? And after a while, Nick was like, yo, listen, um, don't don't give him the benefit of the doubt. This dude has literally been lying since the very start. And I get Nikki's. I've been calling her a dingbat for quite a while, and I get Nikki's, her position because she doesn't want to sit and believe the worst in Ashlyn because it's, how it's going to affect her daughter. And she wants to be 100% like sure, sure. All evidence and everything like that. She wants to be 100% sure because if she gets this wrong, she feels like, Victoria is going to just kind of tout a whole lot of them just to kick rocks, pretty much. So she wants to be sure. Now, Nate comes to see Ashlyn. Well, Nate actually runs into Ashlyn. And, at first, Ashlyn comes to blow him off or whatever, but then he's like, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm not really feeling well. And, because Nate's like, so I've been thinking about this job interview, this job offer, and I really want to do it. Like, this seems like something, it seems like a good move. At first I was like, yeah, it's great. So, we'll talk about it. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? But then he's like, yeah, I've been feeling kind of sick. I mean, kind of under the weather. So he says he's going to go see his doctor, which he does not do. At this point, I'm like, I don't understand. Because somebody wrote in the comment section about my Days of Our Lives review and about a backup plan. I'm listening there thinking, Ashlyn, you really thought that you were just going to go in there and get one over on all of them, including Victor. The guy has been in the game for a very long time, and you think you're just going to get one over on him. You didn't have any backup plans in case somebody might have found out that you're not really sick. Really, bro? Um, Ashlyn, not Ashlyn, Victoria is calling Ashlyn and not getting any answers, and, she's at some coffee place that's run by Sharon. I always find that interesting. Like, the character's name is Sharon, and her real life, her name is Sharon. Um, anyway, so Victoria talks to Sharon for a little bit, and Nick comes in there, and Nick is like, I want to sit there and talk to you. And Nick is like, well, they start talking for a little bit, and Victoria's like, yo, I feel like you're kind of like holding out on me a little bit, like you're not telling me the full story, you know. And Nick is like, you just gotta sit there and trust me. And of course, he talks about how the relationship hasn't been the same since Tuscany, since the wedding and everything like that. And, how they're trying to slowly start to rebuild, like, their relationship. And I'm sitting there looking at this whole thing. I'm like, Nick, I get it. He definitely does seem like the type of guy that, you can sit there and wrong him and be family and he'll still sit there and have your back. I'm just like, why are you trying so hard to sit there and try to get back in her good graces when at the end of the day, the only thing that you try to do was protect her from this guy who was lying to you, from jump. And was lying to you afterwards. And you have the audacity to sit there and be like, oh, like he's supposed to sit there and practically crawl on glass to sit there and try to get back in your good graces. Like, are you kidding me? Anyway, Ashton comes in and he's like, listen, I just want what's best for her, and I love her, and I just really think that we should just probably be on the same page, and this, that, and the third. And you could just see Nick's face, and Sharon sees it also, and Sharon's like, hey, I gotta talk to you. So she comes in there, kind of pulls him to the side, and Nick is like, all right, so what about the wedding? And Sharon's like, no, that's not. I just did that so that way you wouldn't blow up on that. And he thanks her and kind of realizes that exactly what he was going to do. And of course, that was just going to alienate him any further. And Victoria's going to sit there and take Ashlyn's side, and like it just wouldn't have been good. Um, Now Ashlyn is talking to Nick, Victoria, and Victoria's like, did you get a chance to sign the papers? This is after she's asked him, is he okay? Like, did you get a chance to sign the paper? Because I want to make you, an equal partner. He's like, no, I didn't do it yet. And then, he gets a text from some guy that's like, oh, what did it say? Like, I took care of all the doctors that, that Michael guy was in there talking to. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean you took care of the guys that Michael was talking to? That means, like, they have evidence to get him? See, this is one of those things where it's like they're trying to do stuff off camera and trying to keep you in a loop a little bit, but it doesn't work. The way I'm sitting there looking at this, like, okay, did you take care of these guys before? Like, did you take care of these doctors before they had a chance to give Michael Bowen the evidence, or did you just take care of them and he already got the information that he needs? This is why this whole thing is so stupid. I'm like, you should have took care of these doctors from jump. And now that somebody's sitting there looking into your past, looking into your medical history, talking to some of these doctors, or going to go and talk to some of these doctors, now you're just like, oh, I gotta sit there and tie up these loose ends. Really? And you're supposed to sit there and come in there and take over control and fool one over on Victor, when you can't sit there and tie up loose ends before they become problems. Hmm. Oh, and Nate runs into Nikki and Victoria. Nikki and Victor. And Nate's like, I'm excited to sit there and join the team or whatever, or I'm thinking about moving over, but I gotta sit there and finalize stuff with Ashlyn. And Victor's like, so how's Ashlyn doing? Like, is he okay? And even Nikki's like, is he like, how's he doing or whatever? And of course, Nate's like, this is like the second time or the third time I lost count how many times you've been asking me how Ashlyn's health is, and I can't sit there and like talk about that with you. And Victor's like, yo, listen, I'm not asking you for medical details. I'm just asking you, is he okay? Like, we're all family. I want to sit there and make sure he's good, you know? And, Nate kind of gives him this flimsy, he seemed like he was tired, but it could have just been, he's just, I don't know, didn't get enough sleep, or he's super sick. Who knows? Like, I can't tell. I'm not, and if I could, I'm still not at liberty to tell you. So he leaves, and, once again, Nikki's like, this is where she's like, I want to make sure that, because she's like, yo, listen, he could just be tired, he could just really be sick. And Rick just pretty much just like, yo, you seriously need to get on board with what I'm saying right now. Like, he's not a good guy. He's been lying. I, you know, I have a credible source, and of course Nikki's like, oh, he could be lying. These people could be lying for a payoff. Again, I get her position. She wants to make sure she's 100% correct, because Victoria's the type of person that will literally cut you off, like just straight up cut you off. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't sit there and just cut off family, but I can understand where Victoria comes, that mindset of just not dealing with certain people, not having certain people disrupt your energy. And it's just better for your own mental health to sit there and just kick certain people to the curb. And so and that's why I guess I can kind of understand where Victoria's coming from to some extent. But, that's what Nikki is also worried about, like, that she's just going to kind of distance herself from the family and, side with Ashlyn if we are wrong about any of this stuff. Anyway, I feel like that's about it for the most part. Like I said, the whole Jack and Phyllis looking into chemo, his last 12 months as far as the letters were concerned, were just like, I don't want to be a dick and be like it was stupid, but at the same time, it didn't really. It gave you some sort of insight, but the fact of the matter is, they gotta sit there and fill in the blanks, and I feel like again, that's just more heartache. And I hope there's more to this whole story. Like maybe he faked his death, or it's his daughter or something like that that's doing these letters, or something like that. Because there has to be more to it than just them going into an abandoned house and looking through letters. Like, I hope so. I really hope so. I hope so for so many different reasons. Well, one, because I want it to be more entertaining, and two, because this guy has been on the show for a very long time. Like, um, they did this special. You can't even actually find it on CBS. Like, you actually have to go to, um, you have to go to YouTube. You have to go to YouTube and type it up because what this episode is pretty much a history of the abbess, like, and his dad and everything like that. Like, it's a nice episode just to kind of like go through time, and for somebody like me who doesn't know the stuff, like know some of the history, it's interesting. But in those scenes, you kind of realize just how long he's been on this show. So I feel like because he's been on the show so long, they should give him a storyline that's worthy of somebody who's been there and who has put in the work and everything like that to be there. Give him a worth, give him a good story. No, screw that. Give him a great story. A great story. This is what happens when you start doing reviews at like 12 o'clock at night. No, but give him a great story. I don't like when they do that sometimes. Like, even on GH, it's like, with Liz, she's been on the show for so long, and like the story that they're giving her is like, all right, we're gonna kind of give you something like, come on, seriously, you can sit there and give Sunny and Carly and everyone else these great stories, but it's like when it comes to some of these other characters, like, and I feel like that's the same thing on this show. You gave, the Newmans and Adam and stuff like that, and Ashlyn, all this great stuff, but then characters like Sharon and Ray, um, and Faith and Moses just kind of really get thrown to the wayside, you know? Even sometimes when I complain about like the whole Jocelyn, if you watch the age, I started complaining about the Jocelyn and the Cameron scene sometimes, like, at least they have stuff going on. And granted, I haven't been watching the show that long, so I don't know about Faith and I don't know about Moses and their team stuff or whatever, but it's like, give some of these other characters a good story, you know? Anyway, I feel like that's about it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. And if I forgot something, my apologies. Also, my apologies. I said this in the other three. I'm gonna say this in this one. I wasn't feeling good today. I just was not feeling good today. It wasn't like I was like, like in bed, bedridden or whatever. But like I just was not feeling good today, and I only started to feel good later on. Um, and it's just one of those things. It's like I didn't want to just sit there and just put out a review and I'm feeling like crap because I feel like the review is going to be crap and I'm just putting out crap and I am not going to sit there and disrespect my subscribers by just putting out anything. So yeah, and I want to thank you for watching. I know this came out super late, but I really do appreciate everyone watching. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Have a great, safe weekend, and I will see you in the next video.